Yes, everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stephen Howson, and this is a tactical preview of Manchester United against Burnley. I do not think it's possible to overstate the importance of this week. There's a potential 9-point swing where we could be 3 points behind Liverpool, or we could be 6 points in front. That's mad. Top of the league and clear. No more games in hand. No more if we win that or if they lose this. No. Win 2 matches, go 6 points clear. Unbelievable. Of Liverpool, at least. There's obviously other teams with games in hand. But that is the benchmark. They're the current title holders, and that's where United want to be. Personally, still think United have got a long way to go to be real, true title contenders, but we find ourselves potentially in a title race. And I'll start calling it a title race if we do win our next 2 matches, starting with Burnley and obviously dealing with Liverpool at the weekend. But I think there's such a monumental ask to go to Anfield and beat them on their own soil. They haven't been losing at Anfield. That's something that they've created, and it's phenomenal. They've looked fragile, and they've not looked quite at their best, but they don't look like they're going to lose very often, if at all. So I would be delighted with a win and a draw this week. I really would. You got to beat Burnley, and then if you can take a point off Liverpool, not let them gain any ground on you, and stay 3 points clear at the top of the table, that'd do for me. Now, United's last 3 matches, we've seen 2-1 against Aston Villa, 1-0 against Wolves, 2-2 against Leicester. Very disappointed with how it went against Leicester, and I think potentially with the knock-on effects that it could be happening. It's good to see that we are hoping that we can pull out more points from those around us. Next 3 matches, obviously, Burnley, then we've got Liverpool. Following that, you've got Fulham and Sheffield United. So it does, at least on paper, ease up for us after. Burnley will be a tricky game, make no mistake about that, and Liverpool will be a very tough game. Burnley's last 3 matches, they have a 1-0 against Sheffield United. They lost to Leeds and 2-1 versus Wolves. They've got a tricky run of form. They've got West Ham, Liverpool, and Villa coming up after us. They've not been fantastic this year. They are in the bottom quarter of the table, but they still represent a tough ask. Now, if United turn up and play anything like how we've played at times recently, there shouldn't be a drama. But we are looking at a team very, very capable. Now, Sean Dyche has favoured the traditional 4-4-2, or 4-4-2, as some people would like to call it. At Burnley, and I wouldn't have thought that's going to be any different for the visit of Manchester United. Nick Pope will start in goal, with Lawton usually at right back and Charlie Taylor having played all 15 games so far this season at left back. Tarkowski and Ben Mee are likely to continue the partnership in central defence. Robbie Brady's probably going to start on the right, with Dwight McNeil expected to take up his usual position on the left, and Westwood and Brownhill will make up the 2 central midfield spots in midfield, with Ashley Barnes likely to partner top scorer Chris Woods up front. Star man-wise, I think you're looking for Ashley Westwood. Burnley haven't really had any sort of creativity in the team. They rarely play on the front foot. They're definitely a team that likes to try and counter, look to set pieces and that sort of thing. Top scorers Chris Woods and Vidra have netted just 3 goals in all competitions this season. Midfield seems to be doing all right for them, or relatively all right for them in comparison. Brownhill's been one of the league's top interceptors so far this season, and Westwood has been Burnley's main creator. In 18 games this season, Westwood's created 27 chances, which is an average of 1.5 per 90 minutes, which is really good. On top of that, after attempting 955 passes, he's maintained an impressive 79% pass accuracy. So for a team that doesn't like to play with possession, for a team that plays on the back foot more than the front foot, it's all about Ashley Westwood, really. And he's not the sort of player either that I would say, if you stop him playing, you stop Burnley, because it's not necessarily the case. United can beat Burnley just by turning up and beating Burnley. I'm sorry that's not the deepest analysis you're ever going to see, but we'll get into exactly how a little bit later on. United need to impose a high pressing game that will prevent Westwood from creating any sort of chances for Burnley strikers, and that is going to be enough, really. Before we get into my United 11, let's have a quick chat about the sponsor that we've got for this week, which is SportsBroker. So obviously we've been talking about SportsBroker now for a couple of weeks, and with good reason. We've had some pretty good tips. Over the last few weeks, there's been teams that have been saying that you need to avoid and teams that have been saying that you need to be backing. We've had United and West Brom have been a couple of teams that we've been talking about. If you've been backing them at the prices that we've seen, you'll have earned yourself some cash. So United still, I believe, undervalued. Very winnable fixture against Burnley tomorrow. And if we beat an out of form Liverpool, United's price really should shoot up. So get them now whilst they're still undervalued. West Ham we spoke about last week. They've had a good run of fixtures coming up after beating Everton in their recent game. I did say to get onto them at a price of 4.21. They're now up to 5.21, and I still think there's value to be had in West Ham. And also Leeds, after getting pumped 3-0 by Spurs in their most recent fixture, their price has gone down to 6.19, and I think that price can go straight back up because they've got some favourable fixtures coming up. They got Brighton, they got Southampton, they got Newcastle. I don't think they're winning 3 out of 3 there, but I think they're going to see some decent performances. So Leeds, West Ham and United are 3 teams that I would say are looking good. On my avoids, Sheffield United. Now, they could beat Newcastle. They're playing Newcastle tomorrow night. They could beat them, but they've got 3 horrendous fixtures up after that. United, City and Tottenham. So I think it could be a long time before Sheffield United get a win. So I would say let's avoid Sheffield United. Now, West Brom, I did pick these last couple of weeks. If you listen to me over the last few weeks, I said to buy them because they were mega undervalued. They were valued at 63p. We had a 1,100% increase in their value, and they are now valued at £4. So if you backed them when I told you to, you should have made some cash. But I do think their price is going to drop a little bit now, and they could have a tough win or a winless run. And I think it might be until February before we start seeing them looking like they're going to be value again. So I would say cash in, avoid West Brom, and we'll look at them again maybe next month. And Burnley. Now, recently the price on Burnley rose to 4.93, but they've got a horrendous run of fixtures coming up that includes Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester United. So I will be looking to avoid all of those. So United, West Ham, Leeds, they're my tips. And Sheffield United, West Brom and Burnley, that is my avoids. Now, you got to remember, prices will change depending how the teams perform on the pitch. SportsBroker does take into account more than just the final score, with everything from possession, corners, cards, goals, shots having an impact. So even if your team loses a match, there may still be an opportunity to benefit from any positives in the team performance, which is why Leeds are a pretty good one to go for. When buying and selling virtual shares in leading football teams, SportsBroker provides you with the latest stats to give you the action as it happens in play. You also get your own portfolio showing your profit, loss and equity from your trades. If you join now, there is a £100 first trade trial going on, which I think is running to the end of next month. So get in on there, which means after your first trade, if your team drops in value, they will refund any losses incurred up to a maximum of £100. You can play on the app, you can play on the website. The link for all of that is in the description. It is UK only, and you do have to be over 18 to play, and always play responsibly. As I said, link in the description. Go check it out. They're supporting the channel, so very much appreciate if you'd give them a bit of a look as well. Right, let's have a look at my Manchester United team to face Burnley. Right then, my Manchester United 11 to face Burnley would be David De Gea in net. I'm going with Maguire and Tuanzebe because of the fitness doubts over Bailly and Lindelof at centre-half. I also think Tuanzebe coming through in 90 minutes the other day means that he's probably ready to play another 90 minutes. Wan-Bissaka and Telles at fullback. Midfield's a real struggle for us to choose what we think Ollie's going to go with at the moment. I thought McTominay looked fantastic the other day as captain, and I'd like to see him alongside Paul Pogba with Bruno, Martial, Rashford and Cavani. Now, this potentially means Cavani's playing twice this week, but we do play it on Tuesday and on Sunday, so there is plenty of time to rest in between, and he has just sat out the last 3 games, so I assume Cavani's probably available to do that. If United are comfortable in the game, I would expect him to be hooked around the hour mark, because I think Cavani against Liverpool is going to be absolutely vital for United, and obviously we'll get into the tactics on how to beat Liverpool probably on Friday or Saturday, so keep an eye out for that. How United win in this game is pressure. Now, Burnley have struggled when they come up against dynamic players this season. They've often been murdered in the transition. Rashford and Martial on the wings, Bruno through the middle. Even Cavani's not slow for someone that's his age. But I want to be seeing Wan-Bissaka and Telles marauding up and down the flanks in the wide areas, because they'll find areas, especially against Burnley. And when Rashford is on the right-hand side, he links up very well with Wan-Bissaka. He holds his position very well, and he's actually made Wan-Bissaka look pretty decent with the ball at his feet for someone who is admittedly limited with the ball at his feet. And it all goes back to pressure. United have to play on the front foot, and the fullbacks have to take up those advanced positions and look to make things happen. Now, they're a team that relishes the challenge at set pieces, a team that relishes... They're essentially a championship team scraping a living in the Premier League by having some outstanding results and outperforming their ability time and time again, which is why they now find themselves in the bottom quarter of the table. I don't think Cavani, in terms of tell us to Cavani, get your head on that sort of tackle, is something that you would see necessarily worrying Burnley. I think they're a team that's set up to deal with that sort of threat. But the movement of Cavani in the box is something that I think would be difficult for them. So even a ball played on the floor, a check back, something along those lines, you might still see Cavani being very effective and potentially more effective than one of the other forwards, who may be a bit smaller, maybe not as experienced, and someone that they might be able to physically bully. You're not physically bullying Cavani, I don't think. United don't really need to worry massively of the threat of being countered, which is why I went with McTominay in the 6 role. He's not really a 6, but he can cover a lot of ground. His energy and his work rate would be something that is very beneficial. You could have also played Fred in that role, but I am saving Fred because I need 150% out of Fred in the Liverpool game. I actually think United will probably line up with the midfield diamond against Liverpool. I think that could be quite effective, but we will get into that out of the Liverpool game. And I think United do need to keep an eye on this, because you can't take your eye off the ball against Burnley, because Burnley are a hell of a effective side and a difficult side to break down, and the sort of side that United have struggled up against in the past. So you have to turn up, get the 3 points against Burnley. That's very, very, very important. But you do have to be aware. You can't go all out and sacrifice, because you can't get twatted by Liverpool. You can't. You have to go. And if there is any semblance of a title charge to be coming for Manchester United this season, it has to be on the back of performing against Liverpool. United have not performed at Liverpool. United have tried to go toe-to-toe with people in the league this year, and it hasn't really worked. I won't mind a shithouse United performance at Anfield. We're capable of doing it. But we seem to have, since Bruno's become more of a front foot team, more confident in our abilities, but I don't think we're quite there to do it yet. Now, you go to Liverpool and you get turned over, all that confidence completely evaporates. But the inverse is also true. If you are able to go to Liverpool and you're able to pull off a shock, and they're looking up at you in the table, whether that's 3 or 6 points or 4 points off them, whatever it may be, that's confidence built in. It's only 3 points per game, but the confidence, knowing that you went there and beat them, could have a massive effect later on in the season. So this is a huge week for Manchester United. Absolutely huge week. United can go to Burnley and get 3 points. That's not the issue. It's, do we overextend ourselves trying to get the 3 points and fuck up our chances against Liverpool? That's what I'm hoping we don't do. And this is where Ollie is going to earn his keep. And if he manages to pull it off, get his tactics right in 2 tricky games for different reasons, because you're going to have to have almost entirely different tactical setups from this game to the next game. And that's where this is very, very interesting. And I don't even know who we play after Liverpool. I mean, I did say it at the start of the video, but I don't even, like, in my head, these are the only 2 games. Get our game in hand played, get the 3 points, go play the Scousers. These are the only 2 games that matter at the moment. And you have to take it one game at a time, but you also go, we really do need to be thinking about that game. United get 2-3-0 up against Burnley. Cavani, come have a rest. Bruno, Rashford, come have a rest. And let's set ourselves an easier task to deal with Liverpool come the weekend. It's a monumental game. Let me know in the comments. Happy with my 11? Anything that you would change? Anyone that you would like to see brought in that I've not mentioned? And how are we going to do? Let me know in the comments. Are we getting 2 out of 2 or a win and a draw? And would you take a win and a draw, even if it was the other way around? Like we draw against Burnley, everyone loses the mind, but then we go to Liverpool and beat them. I think I'll take it no matter how it came. As long as we don't lose this week, I'll probably be all right with it. But we do need to win one of them. So I'll win one and draw, and I don't care which way around it comes. Cheers for tuning in. Make sure to check out SportsBroker. Like I said, they've been supporting me over Christmas and for this month. It means a lot to me if you can go check them out. And let's see if we can get them to support the channel a little bit longer. SportsBroker, link for that is in the description. 3 teams to avoid, 3 teams to have a look at for this week. Let me know if you've tried it out and how you're getting on. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.